Wednesday went up to about -5, and we were so happy.
Oh, yeah, right when it starts to get a little bit warm, you're like, oh, I feel good. I can go outside. I can move. I'm not going to slip on anything. And then, yeah,
Exactly. Now it's
yeah,
back down to -35, so minus
yeah.
five
And
and
then you're like, I'm not leaving. Yeah, right when it's,
exactly.
sorry. Uh, Gentlemen, so Dennis, do you want to share a little bit about yourself? So Scotty and Ross and Gabe and other people that are going to listen back might get to know a little bit more about you,
Yeah,
our
absolutely.
fellow plot brother.
Thank you. So, I'm a pharmacist by training, and I actually graduated from pharmacy school in 1990. So I've
Oh,
been
nice.
practicing pharmacist for 35 years.
Oh, nice.
And I'm originally came from Asia,
Yep.
from Burma when I was 19, and I've been in Winnipeg since 1984, and I have not moved to any other city. I don't know why, especially now -35 outside. I don't know why I'm staying here, but my pharmacy and my business and family is here, so my brothers and sisters are here, so we just didn't think of moving. And so back in 1997, my wife's a pharmacist also, and she's a pled also. And we decided to open up our own pharmacy in 97. And two reasons we opened our own pharmacy. The first reason was I was frustrated working for Shoppers Drug Mart. And I worked for them for 5 years and I wasn't getting anywhere. So I got frustrated. So I'm like, I want to quit. Either I start my own pharmacy or I'm going to leave pharmacy profession totally. For my wife, reason for starting our own pharmacy was she was a nursing home pharmacist. So she's dedicated to, looking after these a few nursing home. And one of the weekend that she was working, she was on call. They have to take their weekend rotation on call, and she doesn't mind that. But what happened on that weekend is she got a page from the nursing home, and there's a palliative care patient, cancer patient dying in a lot of pain, and they run out of morphine. So she's supposed to go get the morphine fill and take it to the nursing home. Unfortunately, there's no prescription. Prescription refill ran out, so she had to contact the palliative care physician who's on call. Did not answer the call for about an hour because he decided he's gonna go have a brunch with his family, and he ignored the pager. So
Mhm.
by the time we got the prescription, we were ready to get the morphine to the nursing home. My wife got paged again from the nursing home. So my wife said, I just got the prescription, we're on the way. And there was a silence from the other line. And then the nurse said, don't bother, the patient died. So
No.
that made her decided, okay, let's do it ourselves because if we do it ourselves, we can probably, take the morphine to the patient first, and then we can chase the doctor the same day, and we won't get into trouble, and the patient won't suffer. But when you're working for corporate, then all black and white, your hands are tied. You cannot do what you need to do. So that's how we started it. So our pharmacy from the beginning is wanting to help the patient. So I got actually sick in after 5 years because I was looking after patient. I was staying up late to do research and stuff that I wasn't looking after myself. I wasn't eating properly. I was skipping lunch or getting McDonald's. And so I got really sick that I actually got severe fatigue. By 3 o'clock, I need a nap or I will literally fall asleep. So I actually had a little bed in my stockroom in my pharmacy. So 3 o'clock, I literally go to the stockroom and sleep. And my wife looked after the front. And so with that, I actually started getting infections and cold and all of that. So I'm like, you know what? This is not right. I'm trying to help other people and I'm totally sick. So we started looking at what else can we do for ourselves and started looking at the nutritional supplements and things. And then we got training with compounding group that we belong to, started learning functional medicine. And then I actually ran into a physician who was the director of the Fellowship for Anti-Aging Medicine, American Academy of Anti-Aging Medicine. And then she got me into fellowship. So 2004, 2005, I started the anti-aging fellowship. And I got my fellowship in 2007. That was their first graduation class for the anti-aging fellowship, and there was 90 of us. It was it was so exciting. There was only three pharmacists in there. All three of us are Canadian pharmacists.
Love
One
it.
from me from Winnipeg and one from Montreal.
Mm.
And so with that, I continue on and I started listening and training with the Institute for Functional Medicine, Dr. Mark Hyman, Jeffrey Bland, those guys. So I've been working with them and learning from them. And 2015, I actually got certified with as a functional medicine practitioner with the Institute for Functional Medicine. At that time, Dr. Mark Hyman was I think, president of the group. And so I've been doing consult and working with patient one-on-one, doing wellness consultation using nutritional lifestyle food since 2004. And so now, 4 to 20 years, I started creating, and well, a year and a half ago, I decided to join Plaid. Pandemic put me into Tony's events. My first event was Tony's first Zoom UPW. We broke the Zoom every day for an hour. They couldn't run it, so we get an hour break. It's unusual with the Tony staff. So after that, I decided, okay, you know what? I want to join Plaid. So a year and a half ago, I joined the Plaid because I wanted to learn more. I wanted to be in with people like you and Eric and other people, so that I can, by osmosis, learn more and with the mindset and all of that. So I'm at the same time right now in GG Virgin Mastermind for a little bit over 2 years. Her group talk about some clinical stuff, but a lot about healthcare business. And so I'm in two groups that now I'm learning about mindset, learning about business, and how to help other people better. And so, I kind of changed my practice from one-to-one, because before, when I do one-to-one, the most I can see patient is about 12 patients a week. So last year I started working on creating group program so that I can help more people, I can reach more people. And of course, group program pricing is a little bit better compared to one-on-one also, because one-on-one I can only do so much. I gotta charge so much amount type of thing. So my goal this year is as many as I can help whoever want to take action. The same thing that Tony said. Information is great. Until you take action, nothing's going to happen. And that's what I see in the last 20 years. People that work with me, when I give them information after I found out what's going on and digging their, past 5 years, 10 years, some people all the way to their childhood trauma, and then walk through them and then give them a program or give them a direction. If they take action and follow my instruction, they will get better depending on individual, 6 months to a year. Some people take a couple of years depending on how long their issue is, and they will get back to quote unquote their normal, that they feel good, that they can be themselves, they can do whatever they need to. But on the other hand, I have patients that since working with me 20 years ago when I started, they came into me once and then disappear. And then 10 years later, oh, I'm sick again or sicker, and came back. And then last month, actually, she came back to me. Now she's bedridden. She couldn't get out of bed. Still won't follow my instruction. So, again, you're in the driver's seat. That's what I tell everybody. I can coach you. I can find out what's wrong with you. And then I can give you some direction on mindset, meditation, all of that you need. As long as you take action, I'll be right next to you. You want to work with me 3 months, 6 months, a year, up to you. Right now, I have working with one patient, cancer patient, for 1 year contract. That every month or so, they will contact me, I will contact them, and then we'll have a discussion of where they are, what they found, what else they want to do, and then I'm their guide, saying, okay, let's do this, or let's, don't do this because, and I'm looking at all the information and I'm directing them with the lifestyle, food, and supplement. So that's sort of long information.
No, I think
So
it's
great to have you here. Boom.
gonna say
Thank
it's
you.
yeah. There's never too much. There's like especially in this world of like vitality and people wanting knowledge, and I think amazing. Like I got so uplifted. Like you're like, how do I adapt what I'm doing now to go from one-on-one where I can't reach as many people, which is where I was at for the longest time, where now I can affect a group or a community. So I can
Right.
set more, and you're right. It's like there's abundance of knowledge and it has to be directed, but the people that are getting this knowledge have to actually adapt it and work it and and use it
Yeah.
and implement it. So like even
Yeah.
when I talk about
Absolutely.
fitness or the physical stuff side is just like, like I can give you all the programs you want, or I can help you with all
Yeah.
these things, but like I have to meet that person to say like, this is why you're doing this. This is what we're going to get out of it. This is why you're moving. This is
Right.
why you're following this plan and you're doing these things because I'm about changing. I'm about that. Like you're going to make that change. You're making this longevity. Like I like the driver's seat acronym is just like,
Hmm.
like you're out here because we want to see you. I want to see you change. I want to see you implement the knowledge that I'm giving you and, like actually affect your life. But I can't be the one to keep pushing you, the whole way
No,
down the road because your car, you don't even willing to start the car. So,
exactly.
yeah, and I love that because it's like good to have that knowledge and like people ask all the time about like nutrition and supplementation and these things and I'm like these are things are meant to supplement your life. They're meant to make,
Hmm.
easier where it's like, I can't like I'm not getting like one of the guys was asking about like, like if I'm a vegetarian, I'm a vegan and stuff like that. It's like okay, there's tons of options out there. They are limited. So it is a little easier on our life and like a little bit more options that are available that you can supplement some of those meals or some of those things that we're needing to incorporate into that food plan that you can actually make, you're having a healthier life and you don't have to eat way more dense foods to try to hit that caloric intake or, or that
Hmm.
protein goal that they're not hitting where it's like you can just, have that supplementation instead.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, love it.
Absolutely.
And hi, Amy.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good, thank you.
Nice. I'm Brenda. Hi, Brenda. Did you work out?
I worked out. Yep. Tracy and I
Hey.
worked out.
Nice. Love it. You got the body
Had
moving.
my smoothie. I'm having a hard time trying to eat all that stuff, but
I know this is the first start is getting all that
Yeah.
food in there, but you don't have to eat
That's,
it. There's no
that's
time
my
constraint.
breakfast protein and green.
yeah, there you go. It's the pretty color we like to see.
Yeah, that's how you know it's going in. Like supplementation, convenience, right? Where it's like, we have a busy day and we have like it's so easy to get lost in our story or excuse from our past life. But now it's like, you know what, I can quickly make, I have a shake there, I have a drink available, I have food that's already prepped in my air fryer. These things that I can just go on the go and, you know, feed my temple in the ways that I go.
Yeah.
I love that. Uh, yeah, so I was gonna ask you, Dennis, like now that you switched to the groups and helping more of them now, do you find that you do that are you doing more virtual now that it's the past the COVID and everybody has Zoom and stuff?
Right.
You're finding you're bringing everybody in, are you reaching past the Winnipeg and Ontario or
Even when I was doing one-on-one, I get actually patient driving from Saskatchewan and Ontario, even Alberta, to come and see me. And
nice?
so now I actually even get some patient being a virtual. I get some patient actually from US that working with me. The only thing is, and I can't ship the supplement if they need supplements. I'm telling them what to get in down in US type of thing. So
Yeah.
that's my goal is that reaching not just Winnipeg, but not just Canada, but if I can reach like even US or even further, whoever, willing to do the work and willing to work with me, I can then share the information that I have. I can, dig whatever I need to for them to figure out what's going on because there's, still a lot of people are so traditional that, they're going to their specialist and their specialist and still can't figure it out what's going on. And then, like last year, one lady got referred to me. She got a type 2 diabetes and she's doing exercising. She said, "Oh, I'm watching what I eat." And then got the prescription medication, but they couldn't figure out why she was keep getting recurrent UTI for a year. And so the doctor finally said, "Go talk to Dennis." So she came in. I didn't even get the full consult. I just talked to her at the counter. And I just take a little bit more about the food that she was eating. She said, "I'm eating, healthy." And then I found out that she was eating a lot of mashed potato. And with the new drug that she got, the new drug, what it does is to push out extra sugar to the kidney, to the urine. So the body won't have to deal with it. Block the sugar from absorbing from, muscle cell and stuff and spill it out to the kidney. And with that, because so much sugar in urine, she's getting UTI.
Mm.
So I told her, I said, "You need to cut that mashed potato." She refused.
Got
So,
better. 24 hours. 24 hours. Only that got better and then it got fucking.
Sorry, 1 sec there, Dennis. Yeah.
I just
Jake.
muted him.
yeah, no problem. Yeah. So, I'm like, okay, then I can give you specific probiotic as a drug to treat the UTI. So I got this 25 billion 7 combination probiotic that I gave her.
Yep.
And she took that 4 weeks, UTI stopped and did not come back.
Yep.
And she's like, "I'm okay with it." And she won't stop at least she will take the probiotics. I'm like, okay, at least you're going to do something. And
Yeah.
not the drug side that you're not getting the, prescription to treat the infection, but you're using probiotic, more natural stuff to balance and control that. So I'm like, okay, fine. So at least she does, something to help
Yeah.
herself. Not
Yeah, and like a lot of
the way
those
it
people
should
that,
be, but,
yeah,
but on the other hand, there's other patients like, "No, I won't do it." So
Yeah.
like for me, so that's why I'm trying to reach more people through the, group program, like you said. Then we can help more people because when I see these people that not everybody want to do what we tell them to do. And so if I see 12 people a weekend, if 3 or 4 of them said, "No, I'm not doing it," then I wasted my time that I can help, more other people who's willing to do things for themselves. So that's where like my goal is by the spring, I'm revamping my whole group program right now
nice.
just to reach a little bit better, just to, get out a little bit more to many people. And then by the spring, I'm hoping that I can relaunch my program a little bit better with the webinars and all of that.
No, I can tell that you will do that. And I think that's awesome that you're, like I said, like the group thing is you keep going on it because like even when I was like Eric, maybe a big one is like a lot of like there's so many people that have the same problems, but they think like theirs is isolated. They're like, oh, like,
Yeah.
I have type 2. Common thing, and especially in the States and here is just like, okay, I have type 2 diabetes, like I got told to just do this, and they get stuck in their habitual ways where they're like, oh, I can't stray from this path. I got to eat this and this, and my doctor said to have more water. It's like, well, actually, the thing is, like, you're not the same as everybody. Like, we can take your umbrella of, like, what's wrong, and we can take away from like that. And that's just like, okay, like,
Yeah.
if we got to supplement because you're not making that choice to, change one small thing in your nutrition or your diet plan.
Exactly.
Then when we have these group people, same thing, right? Like, I love that because now you're not just, even when you're helping one of them or you're talking about one subject, 4 or 5 others, and the more that the
The
bigger
people,
that group is, you're realizing, hey, I can actually
Yeah.
help more, even just by talking about one thing, where all it does affect, you know,
Yeah.
the group, the one. And
absolutely.
I mean,
Yeah, that's the bonus of it, that, when you're talking about one thing for somebody, other people may have that they never thought of it, or ask, think of asking about it type of thing. So yeah, and the food is a huge thing. That's where, I try to work with a lot of the people is like, what are you eating? How are you eating? Like a lot of times they'll say, oh, I'm eating really good. Then you ask them to do, 5 days food diary, and you look at them like, uh, I don't think so.
yeah,
But
and like
some is,
these are your best 5 days, right? They're like, yeah, I'm like, okay, just
oh yeah,
checking.
yeah. When you,
Yeah.
you tell them 5 day food diary, and they say, oh, I'm gonna start on Monday, not this week.
Mhm.
And then I looked at it, I'm like, this is too good to be true. I can't even eat it that way. So
Yeah.
it's funny. But yeah, and the food, and my thing is that I tell a lot of people that you need to make sure that your digestive system's working, right? Because when we talk about food and nutrients, if your digestive system's not working, not gonna digest properly, then you're not gonna get the nutrients that you need before we even think about supplement. And that's a lot of time that why we end up doing a lot of supplement is they're not eating properly, or they're not digesting food properly. And so the body is not absorbing the nutrients from the food, doesn't matter how good you eat. Like last week, what I tried, like even for myself, there's time that you feel like, I'm eating so bad. So what I try to do is not once a year, but 3 to 4 times a year, I will actually go on either weekend protein shake and vegetables only, or sometime 3 to 4 days, sometime up to 7 days. So I've actually came off the vegetarian diet, 5 days vegetarian diet. Just Friday was my last day, and Saturday I got back into everything that I was eating before type of thing. So I try to do that to sort of reset the digestive system and gut function. So if any of you have not tried that, even for the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, just vegetables and protein shake, you will notice the difference, because I've done some of my patients that came to me, I never had to work with full time at all, just initially telling them based on what I hear from them, telling them, you know what, let's do 7 day vegetables only and protein shake. And then let's talk in a week. And there's a few people that after a week, I didn't have to do anything.
Mhm.
They just said, okay, my food is what, giving me fatigue and brain fog and all of that. So since I changed the food, I'm good. So I'm going to add some protein back, and then I'm going to continue. I'm like, okay, go for it.
This is something that you were talking about the other day, Scotty, hey, about like the capacity of how much protein we eat when we were at the restaurant the other day
Yeah.
versus like the seeds and all these things, right? So I think, I mean, I used to be vegetarian
Mhm.
long time ago, and I lost a lot of weight. And I also lost a lot of energy. I felt like I didn't have the same type of energy, and I thought it was something that I needed, but what I realized is that I needed uh, meat. Like I don't know if something in me was just like I didn't feel as energized, and also my strength, my the way that I like showed up. So I'm curious your guys' thoughts on this, and why is it based off of body, or is it based off of kind of how does that operate? Or because I mean, you look at somebody like Tony who doesn't eat meat, right? And he's a big man. He still has a lot of vitality and energy. So, what is it? Is it based off of just the construct in our minds? Is it something based off of the physiology? What's the essence here of that uniqueness, or is there?
Yeah, I could talk a little bit about, like, I know Dennis has got more in this, which is good, and I like it. I could talk from a physiological standpoint, where it's like the body, right? So like your big thing was just like we're pushing that body and we're doing this physical labor on it, right? We're hitting muscles, we're getting to the glycogen storages, our amino acids are moving. You're trying to get that like size and that muscle mass. I'm not saying you can't do it because I've done it from a bodybuilding standpoint, and I've had friends that do it, vegetarian and vegan. It's not saying that you can't get those like that high protein from vegetables or soy-based or beans or seeds because you can. It's just not as dense. So when we think like meat proteins and where our body's craving that protein, like what Des is probably going to talk about after, is like if we don't have that high number of protein, our body starts to crave that protein. Or like in your case, is like it's gonna like it's our body's gonna need that for that muscle mass, right? So we still get the protein. It's just not as dense. We're eating a lot of like beans and seeds and nuts and things that are gonna go tofu, the plant-based things, which is fine. It's just that we find we have to eat a lot of it. So when our body's like, hey, I'm working out, I'm outputting so much of this on my body that I'm exerting all these calories as it is. We find that with those vegetarians and vegans, they have a good energy from the fats, but they're lean, right? They're not building that big glycogen, which they can be in the muscle storage because that protein's a little bit less on them. And I always think, I know Destiny's gonna go on this because it's good, is like, um, I'm always big advocate of like our body tells us what it needs. So whether it's soreness, whether it's like, hey, I'm craving this protein, or like in your case, you're like, is it meat that I'm missing? Not necessarily that it's the meat or like saying this like Synapse is saying like our body's like, hey, like, we're short, you're pushing your body, we need this more protein. It gives us those little signs. Meat is the most dense. It's the quickest way that you could get a lot of protein from, like even a chicken breast, right? A little 100 grams of it, we're pushing a lot of like 20 grams of protein in a little bit of a chicken breast. That if we do a soy base with, we're really missing those essential amino acids, so those EAAs. So that's where it's like, okay, like I can eat a tofu, but I'm eating like this much. 100 grams of tofu gives me 8 grams of protein. So our body, like eventually after doing it so long and building so much muscle and really stressing that body as like a bodybuilder and muscle size, I find it's just like our body's like, hey, like, like this, like how can I supplement when I'm missing this protein? So even when I'm doing protein shakes or like trying to supplement that way is good. It's just that our body's still like, I need that sustenance or I need that like food in there. I need it to digest because it's different of our body and our gut gams are going to like dissolve all that protein and actually absorb it for a useful way. When we talk, and then it's like, so that's our side, like that bodybuilders is like really good glycogen storages, really good carbohydrates. We really have to have a lot more fats because a lot of that protein that we're eating as a vegetarian or vegan comes from a mix of fat and carbs. And it has it, like we talk about oats and we talk about soy or nuts, that we're getting a little bit of both. That, yeah, I just was found that it's like it's really hard to put that like big muscle mass on and like get that grainy big muscle that we're doing when we're training the body so hard that way. But then again, you get with the fats and like we're talking about Tony, is you have great energy because you're still hitting your caloric intake, you're still hitting those macronutrients if you're hitting a balanced diet as well. So yeah, that's my side of that protein. It's like I don't feel like it's everybody needs to eat the meat, but the guys that work that like muscle mass and that glycogen and like aminos that are going and they're expelling all this energy into their muscle, that it's like that body telling them it's like, hey, like, we're short on that protein. And as we get older, it's even more that, hey, that protein is very important, which Dan's going to talk about probably, is like even if you do vegetables, you just have to have that protein in there, right? Like our muscles and our body moves on those things. And yeah, I think it's they eat like,
And what's
That's also
maybe Dennis before you go, maybe also like what's the impact on the longevity? Because that's also something that I'm always curious about when we're eating meat, is what's the impact on our bodies when it comes to longevity? And is that something that even more of us need to become more aware of? I don't
I'm gonna
know.
love this because I'm gonna answer that. Dennis is ready. He's like, I don't mind too. That's good. 'Cause
Okay.
I want to hear his side as well. Like the longevity of like protein in general, like it's more important as we get older, right? Because we're trying to keep that muscle mass on that. We're trying to like longevity. We talk about, physical disabilities. We're talking about like injuries, tightness. Like we're not having that muscle mass that we used to. That we want it. Like it's so easy to fall back on like lower calories, lower like higher carbs or low carbs. Like we're talking about people just eat mashed potatoes. We're missing those nutrients in general. And if we're not having those macro and micronutrients in our diet, we're not allowing that body to have what it needs to sustain a healthy, longer lifestyle. That we're just, it's like we have a really efficient Mercedes and we're putting like really like crappy gas in it, right? We're not allowed, like we have the tools or have our body, but we're not allowing it to like go farther and do the things that we want and being more efficient. So especially with like physical, we want to move, right? So we're like, okay, we're telling these people like movement's important. Okay, yeah, we do. We need to move. We need to like work those muscles. We need to like, allow that body to have some kind of like with strength. It doesn't have to be weight training in general, but it's like vitality is important. Okay, now we have to feed that as well, that it's getting the things that it needs to keep moving properly and not be sore and be efficient at that state that we want it at. So longevity and food wise, again, it's a little bit like where people ask meat, like it's not one or the other one is better. You have to work with what works with you or where you are in that, like where are your country. Like maybe you don't have access to meat. Like maybe when I was in Mexico, when my friends just got back, as we think of it, they don't have much chicken. They have beef a little bit, not so much, but they're like more pork based. They're more other things that's like you have to like adapt to what you have. And if you're vegetarian, you just have to be more aware, vegan, of like I need that protein and how am I going to make sure that I eat it either by having, because they're not as dense, I have to eat more, but not more in sense of calories, more in sense of micro and macronutrients. And I have to be able to like, if it's not there, what am I doing to supplement that to make sure that my body's getting that for the long run so that I can continue doing this physical, this movement, this fitness later on, where I'm not just like, too many people are like, they put that pour gas in that Mercedes and they're, 200 to 300 kilometers down the road already before they're like, oh, hey, like, something's wrong. It's like, okay, let's start that a little sooner so that we don't, we accept this a little bit later on.
I love that analogy with the Mercedes and for gas. I tell people that, you got a Ferrari, why do you want to put the leaded gasoline, right?
Yeah,
It's not
right?
gonna run.
Ferrari's better.
It's not going to run the way it's supposed to run. So, you need to. So, yeah, definitely from the vegetarian point of view, I'm not vegetarian. I just do that, once in a while because meat is a little bit harder to digest for your digestive system. So, every quarter or so, I will then eliminate the meat for a few days. The longest I've done is 7 days. I cannot do longer than that because then I get really hungry. Like for example, last 6 months I didn't do anything because I've been running with Tony and I need my energy and stuff. But so this is first time in 6 months that I did the vegetarian cleanse type of thing. And by Friday night, when I stopped the vegetarian Saturday, I was just hungry. And Saturday night, I had my supper, my biggest meal supper. And Saturday night, I had supper at 5 o'clock. And then, believe it or not, 8 o'clock, I had another supper because I was still hungry. I was craving for meat. So I had another, plate of dinner type of thing. So, and again, Scott's talking about micro and macronutrients type of thing and longevity. And I've shared that with you, Eric. Longevity for me is even when you're 120, the day before you're gonna die, a minute before you're gonna die, you still need to have energy. You still need to have your focus. You still need to be able to move. That's the longevity for me. And the basic thing is absolutely macronutrients and micronutrients. Macros are proteins. The easiest way to get the dense protein, like Scott said, is meat protein. The only thing I tell people is that watch for the beef. Beef is a little bit more inflammatory. So I tell people that if you like steak and stuff, no more than twice a week. The rest is chicken, pork, bison, if you can get it. All these, even if you can get gaming stuff, leaner meat. Apart from that, lots of vegetable because all the micronutrients are in the vegetable. You don't really need to eat carbohydrate if you don't want to, because from the vegetables, you're getting a lot of complex carb. And the key to it is, I think Scott mentioned it last week, like 1 pound of protein for whatever body weight. And so my average that I worked out, and that's what JJ Virgin said too, is 30 gram of protein give and take each meal. So the whole day spread out 100 gram of protein. That's what you need. That's the general guideline, but everybody is different. And then again, like Scott said, everybody's different. Some people can't eat a lot of meat because of whatever the way they grew up or their culture. Like for example, I was invited by my high school classmate for dinner at her house. She's Italian. So she started with the antipasto, which is all luncheon meat, all cured meat. with nitrite and all of that. And then she gave me big bowl of ravioli and tomato sauce. There's no meat at all. And then the meat came at the last. That's how they eat it. But for me, I'm already full when she brought out the chicken breast and Italian meatball. And I'm like, I want meat, but so I will eat it because I got invited and that's how they eat. But for them, that's how they eat. So it's also one of my things I tell people is eat your culture. Don't change it just because you need to. You have to change a little bit. And one thing I'm gonna share is that I got one teenager came to me 10 years ago and having so much stomach pain and issue. And my pharmacists were talking to him and they couldn't figure that out. So they pulled me out and I talked to the kid. And he said, yeah, can you help me? Because I started the weight training. My trainer said I'm supposed to get this much protein a day. And I can't get it with what I'm eating. So I'm switching what I'm eating. And now I'm getting stomach pain. So I looked at him and he's Indian descent. You know where I'm going? He grew up vegetarian for 19 years. And now this trainer is telling him that to get enough protein and to build muscle, he has to eat steak every day, 8 ounces of steak every day. This kid never digested meat in his life.
Oh, he's
And
so
with this,
no.
he was like fatigued, he was stomach pain, he can think, he can function. So finally came to us and I'm like, stop it. You can do this. Change that trainer because that trainer does not know what he was doing. I
Yeah.
said, you're gonna get sick. And he said, I'm already sick. He's having diarrhea, he's having constipation, and so that's the thing. You have to start with what you grew up with and then modify as your body allowed to.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely meat proteins, if you can eat meat proteins are like Scott said, denser, faster to get into your body. Your body actually can, if needs a protein shake. And that's what I do protein shake is that your body your stomach doesn't have to digest it and get into it. The protein is the first energy source that your muscles going to use.
Mm-hmm.
And then fat. Sugar and carbohydrate just burn so fast that it's not sustainable. So,
No.
People that keep eating carbohydrate, sugar go up and then drop. And so right now I cannot have sandwich for lunch. If I have sandwich for lunch, you better have a bed for me at 2 o'clock because I'm gonna crash.
Yeah, you come down.
Yeah, I'm gonna come down and I'm gonna go to sleep. And otherwise I'd be grouchy. So I avoid sandwiches, especially at lunchtime. So my thing is, for me, that works for me. Protein shake for breakfast, protein shake for lunch. But everybody is different.
Mm-hmm.
So work with what you're eating and then where you need to go.
I love that. Like that is like what I've always talked like when like even 10, 15 years ago was like, you know, we were like, oh, like I need this plan, I need this, I need this program, I need everything. Like tell me what to do is like, nope. Like what? I'm like, no. Because what the first thing you do is like, what's your lifestyle? I'm not gonna tell you to eat 6 meals if you can only eat once. I'm not gonna tell you to intermittent fast when you have a 17-hour day and you gotta sustain that energy. So it's so important, especially when it comes to nutrition. These like and I love that you that reference about going to a friend's house because it's funny because I've worked with people or I help them. I was like, I think, and then Brenda, I hope was writing notes that I couldn't see, but it's so important that it's like we were talking about this because now it's like feedback loop where it's like you can eat these vegetables and you can eat these foods, but they're filling. So if I'm trying to get this protein, I'm trying to get like I know what my body needs and what it feels like when Eric said like I'm craving meat. Okay, like you're craving that protein, you're craving that EAA, like amino acids, you're craving that like to get that body and that muscle what it needs. And that's like you said, the fastest way, but especially when we're used to it. But yeah, like if I fill up on vegetables and I go to a friend's place, it's like I know like okay, maybe I gotta supplement before. I gotta make sure I get what I need in that breakfast and that lunch, not starve myself, but everyone does. Because I'm like, ooh, I'm going out for dinner. It's like, no, you know what your body needs, eat those things, get what it needs so it feels good. So then if you do go and it's like a big salad, and you're like, okay, there's a little bit of protein. I know that I already hit my protein goal. So if I fill up on salad and later on there's that protein, I'm like, okay, that's fine. I know it's there. Or if just being more aware of like, okay, like my body's like I know it needs my fats and my proteins. Maybe I'll stay away from that meal right now and like have this and then come back to it and fill up on it because it's
Right.
just so it's
For
just way
like
too much like a lifestyle.
when you talk about, going to these and then whatever, before the Christmas time, a lot of people ask me saying, so with these Christmas, all these food and all these dessert, what do we do? I literally told them, have a
Yeah.
protein shake before you go
Mm.
so that you hit your protein goal. Like for example, the protein that I'm drinking, one scoop is 16.7 gram of protein. So what I did actually, at Christmas dinner, we took the stuff out for Christmas dinner. Before I went to the restaurant, I had 2 scoops and a 500 ml of water, shake it. I got 32 gram of protein before I even get to the dinner. And then at the dinner, I eat my meat, I eat my salad a little bit, whatever, and then I just don't eat a lot and I just visit.
Yep.
So you just have to be, a little bit, the
A
time
little bit
like,
flexible, yeah.
yeah,
Is
and, be smart about it.
Plan a little bit ahead if you're having those, like, or
Yeah,
even like be more aware of the morning where you're like, most people don't do
absolutely.
like 30 minutes before, like, ooh, I got a dinner plan. It's like, well, usually at the minimum, that you're in the morning, you're like, or that day before that you're gonna go for dinner that day. So yeah, being more, okay, what do I need to like if I'm going to this restaurant or if I'm going out, just being more aware, okay, I ate my food, I had a protein shake, maybe I had two protein shakes because I know we're going to like a vegetarian place. I'm just gonna have more vegetables and I can just be more aware of that and just it doesn't like you have to measure everything and do that. I love that, where it's just like I'm always
Yeah,
about that just supplement or what convenience wise can this help you before you go? That when I do get there, that I'm feeling better and I'm like, okay, I don't have to worry. I got the stuff that I need. I can enjoy people's presence in the company more than trying
yeah,
to worry about what's going in my body.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
Just being aware, and when you get there, you just make sure that you're in the moment and you look at what's going on and what your body needs and what your body is going to accept.
love that.
is
So you
cottage cheese a good source of protein? There's all kinds of things that people are making with cottage cheese in it.
From my point of view, cottage cheese by itself, not in dessert or anything, but cottage cheese by itself, there was a study done, I think almost 10 years now, that for the type 2 diabetes who were trying to lose weight and they couldn't lose weight. So what
Okay.
they did was they give them cottage cheese because they need the branching amino acid to, build a muscle. And cottage cheese has, I think 1 cup of cottage cheese has 2.5 gram of leucine, which is the key branching amino acid that they measure how much branching amino acid you're getting. So they did that. And so everybody in that study had to eat. If they cannot eat any meat or they don't want it, they have to supplement with the cottage cheese and they have to measure how much cottage cheese they were eating based on how much leucine they were getting. And so with that, within 6 months, average, I think they did like 50 people and average weight loss in 6 months was 50 pounds. And their insulin levels and sugar level actually went to normal because of that.
Wow.
So
When I was a
I've
kid,
always now go with cottage cheese. I always have cottage cheese at home. On the weekend, what I do is when I do smoothie, green and my protein powder, but extra cottage cheese in it.
I just saw somebody make ice cream out of it.
As long as amount of sugar, right?
Yeah.
That's where the
Well,
issue is. Like,
I think
for
they did.
example,
Yeah,
I
I
bought
think.
the protein bar for Tony's event.
Okay.
You can eat a
Yep.
lot or you can get out. So I went and buy the protein bar and I bought it 2 different brands and didn't look at the label. I was in a rush, took it to the event and then we took some, we hiked some in to the event, and then we pull it out, and I decided to read the label. Both of them has a 20 gram of protein, and outside of the box, they say that 20 gram of protein in a bar, which is pretty decent. One has 3 gram of sugar. The other one has 17 gram of sugar.
Wow. Wow.
So I'm like, okay, I'm not eating the 17 gram sugar because I'm gonna crash, especially
Right.
jumping at Tony. I'm just gonna fall down and pass out. So I like when I came back, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go buy this one with the 3 gram of protein, with the 20 gram of protein and 3 gram of sugar. I'm gonna avoid the other one. So that's the other thing. So
Mhm.
they can see that, when people find out, oh, cottage cheese has got whatever, people hype and they start saying, oh, ah, whatever food has a cottage cheese in it. And people are like, oh, cottage cheese, but how much sugar do they put in? How much
Mhm.
artificial sweetener do they put in? And,
Right.
we talk about sugar. I'm going to say this. I don't know if you know that, and I'm sure Scott may heard of it before or know this. Splenda. So close. It's not a sugar.
Mhm.
Biochemical research for to kill pests, ants and stuff, and they got sucralose, and they found out that sucralose was sweet and no calories, so they started marketing as instead of it was not strong pesticide, but it was strong sugar, so they started marketing as a sugar. And sucralose is a chlorinated sugar. One molecule of sucralose has a 3 molecule of chlorine.
Wow.
What it does is that when you put the sucralose into your coffee or your drink, it's like you're making your coffee with the pool water.
Wow.
Scary.
Wow.
People are like, oh, I taste sucralose. It's good. I'm like, would you like making coffee with your pool water? They're like, no. I'm like, well, that's what you're doing. And then because chlorine in it, when you get back into the body, even though it doesn't give you the calorie, it's actually knock out the iodine from your thyroid hormones and deactivate the thyroid hormones
Yeah.
because chlorine is stronger than iodine to bind to the thyroid hormone binding.
And that's
So
where
now you don't have enough thyroid hormone, so now you're gonna get fatigued and you're gonna gain weight.
And then quick to keep going, Dennis. I just wanted to see, like, I agree on the fake sugars, the sucralose, aspartame, everything is bad. So I've always said, like, you know what, if it's something that you can work with, which I'll explain after, but it's like, hey, like you can have that. I would rather have you have something that's a little bit of sugar in it over trying to like abundance of something that's 0 calories. You're like, well, like I
Absolutely.
had a juice. Okay, well, that juice with added sugar is still going to be more than you drinking a liter of Diet Pepsi because in their head they're thinking calories,
Yeah,
right? So it's like
yeah,
those have
yeah,
the nutrients that you would get from the sugar. And it's like same thing with people asking about sugar. I think Brenda is going to probably ask questions about this, but sugar's not bad if you're using it for something that's going to give you the energy. So if I'm
yeah,
doing a run, if I'm going to go work out, it's like it's okay. You can have a little bit of that sugar with your oats, or you can have sugar with those like peas or that peanut butter in the morning because you're like you said, this is like I'm using it to do something. I'm using it for that energy.
yeah,
I want it to
yeah,
dissolve fast where I'm going to actually be
yeah,
efficient with those calories. But I also got to
yeah,
be aware that if I'm not doing anything at 2 o'clock, I'm not going to take that
yeah.
sugar, but I'm also not going to have that same synapse if I have a Diet Pepsi at 4 p.m. because it's going to make me feel almost the same or shittier later on in the day.
Mm-hmm. Well, a good example. When we launched our protein a couple of years ago, we talked to one of the former CFL football player from Winnipeg Blue Bomber, and he still exercised 2 hours in the afternoon. Go to the gym. He do his thing because he want to keep his body in shape and muscle and stuff. So they've been trained to eat a bowl of pasta before they do these 2 hour workout because they need the energy immediate, carbohydrate and sugar. And then after he came out, he will then have to eat dinner right away because he's so hungry. So when we started the protein shake, I gave him a jar of protein shake. I said, you play with it. So now what he does is 1 scoop of my protein and 8 ounces of orange juice. instead of a bowl of pasta, and he can hit the weight room for 2 hours. He come back, he's not hungry. He has a couple of hours before he has dinner.
Mhm. I love it.
And so you gotta know how to mix it and what your body will take. Yeah, sugar's not bad until you have excessive amount.
Yeah, I love that you think the same as me, and especially when it comes to like, well, I think Amy probably has a question, but it's that abundance. It's because it's just like that sugar is so quick to dissolve for people. They get that like not adrenaline, but it gives them that synapse where it's just like, ooh, that tastes really good, and the body's dissolving, and you're like, ooh, I feel good, and I have this like that addiction to that side of that sugar because very easily because it's so fast that it can like work. Or I'm kind of tired, is it? Or like people ask me about certain coffee places. It's like, okay, is it the coffee that's doing it or is it the sugar? Because there's so much sugar in that drink.
Mhm.
That's what's giving you that energy, not necessarily that caffeine. So
No.
it's being more aware for people, and then yeah, like everybody's different. So it's just like not saying
Mhm.
like you cut out sugar your whole life and this is going to work. It's like, well, that's not going to be longevity. You're not sustaining like that going on, right?
No.
Or Amy's like, can I have cottage cheese? I'm like, if you like it and you can get that in there in that morning where it's something that you can work with and you can add into your daily routine where it's something that's making that change in your physiology that you're feeling better. And like I said, it's like you're seeing that like leucine where you're actually gonna, build that muscle and drop that weight and kind of be more our bodies being more efficient instead of just like I gotta hold these calories and I gotta hold on because I'm not getting enough and I'm starved. My body's starved. I feel great, but I'm just doing it. So yeah, I know it's like with so many sweeteners and new ones coming out, and then people learning about aspartame, like, oh, it's going to cause. I'm just like, well, your compound you're making a sugar and you're putting chemicals into it to make it healthy for you, but is that really making it healthy? Like, if I got to
No.
chemically change this compound of this thing and
Yeah.
change how it's built, is that healthier for me? It's okay to have non-natural sugars. Like Brenda's with me. It's like Brenda, I'm like, how many times I'm like, eat fruits. That's okay. Use them in the morning when you're going to the gym and have them after the gym where you have that energy, and then we talk about it later on when you don't need it. We don't need to have that, calorie from those little bit of like an apple or a banana at the end.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I love being on a fly on the wall listening to you guys talk because I'm just learning so much by just observing your guys' conversation. It's awesome.
Makes me
I
feel
was-
strong.
Makes you
Yeah.
feel strong. Scott, I was going to ask you, that's so funny that cottage cheese came up because I saw this recipe from Gordon Ramsay this
Nice.
morning and I saved it because it was like, and he eats it, he said, a lot of mornings. And it was like a toast with cottage cheese, egg, and avocado.
Mhm.
And I was like, cottage cheese. I never would have thought about putting cottage cheese on that kind of breakfast type scenario. Anyway, I was going to ask you, like, how would that fit into a breakfast, or would it?
Yeah, it's definitely more like I like cottage cheese. Eric, I'm gonna hear his story after of how much cottage cheese he probably ate for his shows back in the day because we're just like no fat, making no water, and I'm sitting there putting cinnamon on it to just get it down because it's so good for you. But it depends on the texture, right? Or sorry, it depends on people have that texture. So for morning with that, it's like they're saying there's protein, there's things that we need in there with the amino acids in there that is going to let our body use that protein, that fuel for the rest of the day. So we're not getting that, like how we talked about the guy with the pasta, those like high GI or high complex carbs, slower to dissolve. But if we have that cottage cheese and we're adding fats into it now with the avocado and the eggs, with a little bit of carbs from the bread, now we're allowing that full meal that we're actually going to absorb and get good energy from that in the morning because fats are sustaining long. That is going to be good for that, like, from that morning until lunchtime. You're filling your body up a little bit better and fueling it better. Sorry, you're putting actually like, let's go with like 91 in that Ferrari instead of the 94 or the 84. So it's better. It's a big texture thing too, right? Like, because you don't go with a very
Yeah,
creamy cottage
I
cheese.
know.
And you're
That's
like,
what I mean.
Scott, like my bread's soaked and my egg's falling off, my avocado fell on the floor. I don't have no idea what's going on right now. So if you get the thicker one, like zero fat or like lower fat, I should say, sorry, it's just a
Yellow,
texture.
yeah.
And it's very good. So like just nailed it. And I love that where he's just like it's what's in there that's doing it, right? The leucine, the amino acids that we want. So it's good proteins that are in there that's allowing that bond for later on, especially for a workout, that you're gonna feel better for that. So we can add it in there. Um, is it good as Greek yogurt and stuff? Yeah, everyone has a little bit better, like there's not better, there's different micronutrients in each one. We can easily switch them out, right? For you kind of thing. And the same thing.
Oh,
I
yeah, I
know.
can switch them on. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just being like aware if that's something that you enjoy, but if you haven't had cottage cheese in a while and you're like, I don't like it, throwing it in randomly is probably not going to make you like it again. So adapt to get
Well,
to the
you know,
food
I
that you
don't
have.
know. I haven't had it in so long.
I know that was me too. I was always like, I don't like this, and then I got like, and then I was like I was doing my own diet and nutrition, and I was just like, okay, I need more protein. I'm going to try cottage cheese. I haven't done it in a while, and I made it good. I did. I didn't make it fantastic, but I mean, I was also just eating it scooped out of the thing. So,
So
um,
you can make it as a you can make it as a crust for a pizza. You know, you put an egg in it and Parmesan cheese. You can roll it out and make it a crust for a pizza, bake it first. But this person I saw was literally making ice cream with cottage cheese, honey, put it in the mixer and some peppermint oil, and then put it in the freezer and it was peppermint ice cream.
Nice.
Thought that was a great idea.
I
I
love
gotta
that.
play
Like,
with it.
I was gonna say like that. It brings out that like playfulness in us, where it's got creativity, like we're creating something with food. So now we're getting more of that connection with our food that we're not just like, why am I eating this chicken breast? Okay, what can I do with this? How do I make this meal for my temple, for my friends, for my family? For you're creating an experience around it, like you just said, like you make that good. It's just something to you that's like, I'm going to enjoy this. Well, and then you're getting all the micro and macronutrients that you need out of it because it's good for you. And then you're going to continue doing it. If I just like, oh, I'm Scott and Eric here. I like to be shredded. I'm gonna eat chicken, broccoli, and rice all the time. It's like okay, like that might work, but actually, what's better when I work with people about like getting very lean or changing their physiology a little bit more is like we gotta nail down what your actual body needs. We gotta get those micronutrients. You know, it's like okay, cool. Like you're eating rice. You know, it's high in the GI. You're eating a lot of steak. You're gonna get inflamed tummy. Like you're bloated all the time, gassy. It's like taking aware of that. And Dennis is way more on it. Where it's just like now you can be like we can supplement things. So let's take what you like. Let's take what your lifestyle. If it's ice cream in, like cottage cheese ice cream in the morning, nail it. It's like, okay, but I'm still low on my protein. Okay, perfect. Let's have a salad with a protein shake, or like let's have something easy that's going to go on your stomach. So I do. I love that connection to food. I love food because it's like, I think Eric's the big way. I'm just getting him to eat a little bit more. But you're feeding that body for what we want. So if you have that ice cream or you have that big meal, maybe it's before you're like, oh, this is really good. Use that as that energy for later on because honey is really like honey we talked about we talked about sugars has good sugars, right? So we're using it. It's a very good it's good for us. So if I do that in the morning and then I go right to going bloop, and then I'm just sitting there, and I'm not getting it, it's just like, well, hey, like that's the perfect time if your body's feeling good, just go walk around the house, go do these little things that make that change in our body. Physiology way where we can feel better and you feel that blood and you feel that like those muscles waking up and moving and it's alive. It's good. So yeah, I
Yeah.
definitely say you should try it and let me know how good it is. 'Cause I feel
Yeah.
like you got Brenda, same thing. Try that cottage cheese in the morning. And don't ask me the measurements because I know you're gonna do that. Spread it on there a little bit.
Yeah.
Spread it on
Yeah.
there and then see if it's good as like, is this making my tummy and my soul like happy? Is
Yeah.
this something that I can actually enjoy? Or am I sitting there like, I can't believe I just put cottage cheese on egg, on avocado, on peanut butter, on butter, and I
Right.
am overstimulated.
A
Yeah,
cottage
exactly.
cheese challenge.
Yeah, whatever works for you. Like for me, every time I go to, restaurant and stuff, especially in US, if I have to have a burger and if I see they have a fried eggs on it, I'm all for it because 2 eggs at a meal that give you complete amino acid. Nothing else gives you that except 2 eggs. Well, I shouldn't say nothing, there's other, but that's the easiest is
Yeah.
if you have 2 eggs,
Easy.
you got complete amino acid that you need. So for me, it's always been eggs. So, and the other thing, when I said play with the food, we know that when you have a better connection, like Scott said, to your food, your body and your mind and your soul is going to take the food better and it's going to work better. Like I grew up in Asia, and so Chinese and Burmese and Indian culture, not Chinese but Indian and Burmese culture, they eat with hand. They feel the food, and that's their connection to their food. And so for them, it's what are they eating? They looked at it, it's colorful, and they touch it compared to a lot of us here is, fork and knife. Like I've seen people eating pizza with fork and knife. I've done it sometimes because, for whatever reason, I don't have time to wash my hand after type of thing. But that's make it different. So if you look at it, those culture, those people, they actually have better understanding, especially Ayurveda, right? East Indian culture, East Indian medicine. They are more attuned to the whole body. When we go to Tony event, he talk about different chakra center and all of that. And that's part and parcel of being attuned with the whole environment. So eating food with the hand and stuff, that's part of being, in touch with your food. And so definitely just because, we say cottage cheese, if you don't like it, don't force it. If you're forcing something, it doesn't work. But after saying that, when you talk about, a picture of avocados and eggs and toast, and that's a perfect because eggs give you amino acid, toast give you the a bit of the carbohydrate, and then the avocado give you a good fat. So
Yeah.
that's perfect recipe, but
Yeah.
that's on the recipe. So you have to.
That's funny
make
that
sure
you talk about eating with. Hi, Dennis Wong. I'm Gabe, by the way.
Okay.
So I'm Inuit. I'm native, and we eat with our
Yeah.
hands a lot. So like we'll catch something and we'll eat it raw right away. Like for instance,
Yeah.
right now, what I'm eating is a caribou that I caught and it's dried,
Jerky.
and we just eat that. So we snack on that all day, every day. And like if we catch a whale or if we catch something, we just put it on the table and people come for lunch. We cut our piece
Yeah.
and we're eating. And usually actually what we call our tables now, because our stuff is frozen, we're always eating frozen. We eat on the floor. We put the cardboard on the floor. We have a knife and we're eating, and we call our table the cardboard. So you'll see like on our Cell Swap or on our community groups, anybody need tables, and it's just a box of cardboards. But we put our meat on there and then we all just sit there and eat. But yeah, we have dried caribou is what I'm eating right now. And
That's perfect because that's your culture, right? You grew up with it and you continue on. And that's, when I talk about eat your culture, it's that like if I ask Gabe to change something drastically, he's not going to be able to do it because his digestive system's not used to it. If anything that we need to add for him or, we want to suggest something, then we got to say,
yeah.
oh, do it a little bit. If he go and eat cottage cheese, I can tell you that he's going to have a diarrhea because he's probably not
So
used to that.
I do have it with my salad and stuff like that. I have a salad mostly at every lunch. Different salads.
Good.
I don't dictate what the salad is because anyways, the chef does that. But so for me, the connection with the food is a big thing. And it's interesting that you say that because I was trying to I was 350 pounds before. And now I'm down to about 290. And I was trying all these diets and these protein shakes and all this crazy nonsense. And I was calling it a diet and I was failing hard because I was trying to do something that wasn't made for my body type. And I had no idea what I was doing. I was just like trying to listen to people from Herbalife or people it was all just people selling me shit. And some of the stuff was good, so I use like Formula One. There's lots of vitamins in there. And Formula One from Herbalife is just a morning drink. I don't do it every day, but I eat fruit every day and I have one of those. Or I don't make it a huge thing anymore, but I did step back. I said, I just want to go culture because I'm so much more fulfilled by eating my own cultural stuff. And I throw a bunch of vegetables in there and I'll have rice and then, multi-grain toast. But I was trying to make it I was weighing everything. I was making it so hard for myself to be able to enjoy food. And then I would just end up eating like good for a couple of days. And then I would order a pizza and eat a whole entire pizza or a burger and then have like a poutine and then have 4 pops during the day. Like, just ruining myself. And now I don't drink any pop, and if I do, it's just diet pop, and I don't know much about aspartame and things, but I just heard him talk about it. And I don't make it a huge thing, and my life is so much better. I have psoriasis and my skin is getting better even. So There's been a lot of things, and I really love Mondays because I'm the biggest thing I'm working on right now is fitness, and this makes me feel so much better. I'm just like a fly on the wall. Eric said, being a fly on the wall. I could listen all day. I'm gonna try download this before I get on the plane. Eric, how are you?
I'm amazing, brother, and you?
I'm good. I feel good. I feel energized. I think I'm gonna. It's probably late to tell you, but there's a plane leaving in 4 hours or in 3 hours. I called my wife. I talked to her last night. And I think I can go to BM.
You're gonna come on? You're gonna come down?
Nice.
I think so. I think so. I have to book my ticket in 4 hours. I have a few things to tie up here. But my flight is here to Rankin, and Rankin to Yellowknife, Yellowknife to Edmonton. I think I'll land at the airport in Edmonton by maybe 11 o'clock tonight. But I have to talk to you because like it's so fast for me that I wanted to bring my family, and that's just too much. I'll plan a better trip for her to come down. Maybe a life mastery or what, like a wellness trip, something better, something more family oriented. But I want to bring a plus one, so I'm going to bring my finance executive, and I got to sit down and plan like who's going to pick me up at the airport or where do I even go. Is
Well,
there a link to this?
We don't have we don't have the Airbnb till 4 o'clock tomorrow. Okay. So we have to make sure that this evening, or if you fly in tonight, that you get yourself a hotel. And then at that point, my suggestion would be, if you're coming in at 11 o'clock, as much as I'd love to come and pick you up, I think it would be awesome if you could jump in an Airbnb, taxi.
How far from? So my question really is, I can figure out how to get there. How far is it? Like, is it worth me just sleeping and then getting a rental and driving there? Like what? And I think I don't want to take up time in this meeting, but little small details, if you could just tell me where, I'll manage to get there. I don't want to make it a huge thing. I could manage everything else.
I think Scott, do you mind sending in the group or sending Gabe just the address of the space, just so he has the access of it? And then what I'll do is I'll send you the details in terms of the schedule and what we're doing for the days and what the days are, and just like e-transfer, all that stuff, so that you can have access and awareness to where it's going and all the information. Does that work? And I'm assuming you and your finance guy are gonna need a place you're gonna stay at the Airbnb. I'm assuming that's correct, right?
Whatever works, whatever's closest and easiest. I'm not too worried about, like, if I try find everything and try I don't know. I just called her again. She confirmed that I could go. So I was just like, I can't wait to get on the meeting and tell Eric. I don't know.
Coming, bro. It's gonna be good. I think it's meaningful and important, and the fact that you're coming, it's gonna be awesome. So it's also.
Is there enough beds? I know there's 7 beds.
Yes.
And how many people do we have there now?
So there's 7 beds, and we have I'm just gonna confirm. So we have Ronald, Ross, Sagitas, JJ, Paige,
Talon.
Paige and Talon.
That's 6 people, 5 beds. So that means that we have because
We have
Remy.
2. Oh, Remy, he doesn't need.
That's what I mean. So Remy and Sebastian, they don't need beds. So we basically have 2 beds for Gabe and his partner, or Gabe and his 5
Yeah,
beds.
so it should work because I think there's a room with like bunk beds or something.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, this is Felix. Come over.
Hey.
Amazing.
Oh.
Felix, so you're gonna come see us in Edmonton too, brother?
Sure, man. I'm coming over with
And I just told him an hour ago. I said, "You want to go to Business Mastery with the guys that I meet with on Lighthouse every day?" He goes, "Sure."
Well, it's this energy and this like community and this bond, this like how we are in this call is just exponentially in person. So it's not.
Yeah, wait till you
doing this
come.
on an hour call. And you haven't even seen me in person or seen Eric in person yet. Eric's not a fly on the wall when it comes to in person. He's all over the place. He's here. He's my energy. Here's this. So he's the he keeps my vitality up. So if that's saying a lot, it's
And
a
Gabe, bring
big-
some dried caribou.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll see what I have left. I'll see what I have left. Do you guys want? Let me see what I can bring.
I'm
in the
just
group
so
chat, if you
curious.
guys wanna
I'm
see-
curious
if you
about
guys wanna-
dried caribou.
Because we have smoked char, Arctic char. We got some like I'm not trying to boast, but our stuff up here is very, very, very pure and natural stuff. It's
Here,
like-
that's what I love.
there's
No
there's
preservative.
You
there's
get
zero
that-
zero zero. It's all from the land, and it's like right on my back door.
Beautiful.
Ross is coming. I think Ross is gonna come visit. Well, Ross will see that stuff.
Oh,
Love it.
So okay,
Awesome.
I made my choice. I was gonna wait until the call. Like I was confirming with my wife and then confirming with him. But yeah, it's done. I'll call my the agent and he'll book the tickets.
Yeah, I think.
yeah, I gotta run, guys. Sorry. See you.
Bye, Brenda. Eric, we can add him into the bye. We could add him into the group of it, and then I can just and then I'm not if he doesn't get misconstrued in the Lighthouse community, and then I can just send him all that deets and then get you all information. Like, there's hotels and stuff right at the airport. So if you're just like, hey, a long flight, you can just walk in the airport, and then guys can crash there. Even you don't have to book an Airbnb or rental, and then in the morning you can find we have like Uber and stuff.
I think we're going to have a lot of sleep on those planes, so I don't mind
Okay.
driving.
Yeah.
So if I make my choice, like I need to get there the fastest way possible because in my head it's just like woo, 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 woo.
now. Yep. Yep.
So what's the cost on this? Like, is there per person or how does it work?
Yeah, it's per person. I'm just sending you the details in the group right now, so you have all the access, and then.
Well, you got it because then I can send him all the. He can scroll up, I think, sometimes. If not, I can.
Hey,
send
thanks
him-
so much, guys. Scott, I don't think you were on the call. There was my first call ever because I've been to Business Mastery in Palm Beach. My first call ever with Eric. He goes, we were all talking about stuff. He's like, we're actually doing a virtual watch together and all this stuff. And I love Eric. I've watched him before I even knew him, actually. And then I started piecing it together. Anyways, I was like, yeah, I'm going. Yeah, I'm going. This was before my kid was born, right? I was just, my wife was, I don't know, this was December 10th or something like that. My kid was born on the 13th, the evening of Christmas Eve. And I was like, yeah, I'm going. And then we had the kid and I was like, maybe I can't go. It was pretty intense. Things are stable. We got help at the house. I made sure my wife was perfectly fine and good. And she's like, yeah, go, go, go. She sees so much benefit in just me doing these meetings with you guys that she's like, we need more of this guy. We need more of this.
Bring this guy.
Great.
Edmonton.
Well, I'm grateful, brother, that you're gonna make it happen. I sent you the schedule, the pricing, the e-transfer, all the information. And if you have any questions, you just let me know, bro. If also in terms of, because so everything is included, your accommodation, your stay, your food, all of it. We're all in a big house together, and then we have 2 additional integration days. Scotty's bringing over different body workers, Reiki healers. We're also going to do a sound healing. We're going to be working on really taking care of each other and just really harmonizing this vitality and this energy, but also then accessing, what we're doing in Business Mastery to then amplifying it in all of our businesses, as a collective, as a team. So there'll be a lot of great knowledge. Sagita's is flying. Ross is already here. Ronald's gonna be here in 2 days. JJ's flying. He'll be here tomorrow. So a lot of people from all over the are coming to visit. And then it's just continuing to grow, right? So the establishment side to the team side we're all here flying together, and I'm excited that you and Felix are gonna come. So yeah, man, I sent you all the details if you have any insight. And then I just added you to the Business Mastery Edmonton group. So you're in there in WhatsApp, and then Scotty, if there's anything that I also Scotty yeah, so anyway, hey, that's on the side. My mom's ready to go buy groceries for all of us.
Yeah, I'm
So the whole
gonna
my
quickly call.
parents, my dad's gonna be picking everybody up from the airport, so it's like a family function. It's amazing.
There's his energy. Okay. I'll and then Eric's like, well, I'll talk to Kanda at 11 because I know she's with Brenda, and then if I can't call her, then I'll make the executive decision, and then she can eat the food that I choose.
Yep.
And I think it's
Sure.
Dennis has got me on this as well. Actually, quick question because Dennis, you're all about gut health and IBS and things. So I do have Crohn's. So
Okay.
the big thing that I eat and I'm a supplement guy too because of convenience. And I'm a
Yeah.
bodybuilder. I know what my body needs and how to feed it. But I was curious because you said something about protein stuff. So I noticed that I like certain protein. Everybody's different, of course, but like
Yeah.
I can do like a whey isolate or I can do stuff that's a little bit less like that lactose free almost like that sugar from the milk.
Yeah.
Upsets me, makes me bloated. I have to have certain protein powders. So I think you said you had a protein powder. So I know like
Yeah.
I do a proprietary blend of like TEC and a little bit of whey, but like whey isolate. So I find that's easy on my stomach. But obviously, if you're talking about protein powders,
Yeah. Yeah.
for that, what your recommendation is, and I mean, if you have your own protein, you can tell me a little bit about it. But I'm kind of curious on that side because so many people are supplementing protein, but they're like, oh, like I'm gassy. I'm like, okay, like something's missing. Oh, like I feel really full and I feel really, like bloated. I'm like, okay, like, that's something that we can talk about, which is
Yeah.
protein supplementation.
Absolutely. So over the year, I use whey protein. I use, rice and pea protein. I use different protein isolate, and
Yeah.
I find it that nothing was really 100% for everybody, and even for myself. And a few years ago, I found a really clean whey protein that I was able to use for anybody, even
Okay.
people with a issue with Crohn and gut issue type of thing. And but then the company stopped making it, so I had to come up with something. And at the same time, not everybody, a lot of people are asking me about vegan protein. So I actually came up with fermented vegan pea and rice protein. And not just that, but I use rice and pea as the key protein in there, but I have other uh, ingredients that give extra protein to it. But everything is fermented. And the reason we did it fermented was it's pre-digested. It's good for the people with the Crohn, good for the people with IBS, IBD. And then I actually added fermented mushroom blend. So it has a fermented reishi mushroom, fermented lion's mane, fermented cordyceps, shiitake matake.
Love it.
And then I put the fermented grasses. So fermented greens, fermented oat grass, barley grass, wheatgrass, all of that in there for about 5 grams.
Okay.
And I find it works really well for a lot of patients, even with the Crohn. So what I can do, Scott, is actually send me your address.
Yeah.
I do have some sample pack that we, let people try it. So I can send you a few sample pack. Each pack is 1 dose, and
Okay.
you need 8 ounces of water, or you can put it in a smoothie, and then
Yeah.
see. And it's sweetened by stevia.
Oh, okay. Plant-based. Okay, sweet.
Yeah, plant-based. Yeah. So the whole thing is vegan, 98% organic.
Yep.
The only thing that we didn't get organic was, I think, inulin in there. We put an extra fiber, and
Yeah,
that
that's yeah, which is
you
good
know,
because we're talking about gut health and moving and getting that,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
that's
exactly. So I've been using that myself since I created that a year and a half ago. I have not used any other protein.
I love it.
And like last week when I did the vegetarian, 5-day vegetarian thing, I wanted more protein. So instead of 1 scoop, I did 2 scoop breakfast, 2 scoop lunch, and then vegetable, salad and whatever with the olive oil and balsamic vinegar. That was my dinner. All
Yeah.
steamed vegetables. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's like super important because that's the thing I talk about people is like supplementation and convenience. Like same thing. I can tell that we are on the same way. We can be good mirrors where it's like when I talk to people about that health, it's like what works with you, right? Like I'm not saying
Yeah.
you have to juice cleanse and have to have protein every day, but
No.
something that we can do to reset it. Or for me, where it's like I need like an Eric over here that needs 240 pounds of lean mass on him, where it's like protein's important for him. So having something that's there and also something that we tried in Preston in our community where it's like I can try this and I know that it works for me and I know it's good for the people where it's like you're getting quality protein because you can go anywhere and order protein, but it's not going to be work for you or like you do find one like that happens a lot and then all of a sudden they
Yeah,
stop making it. You're like, this is the one that
exactly.
works.
Yeah. You have to tailor to your body and you have to eat, healthy, of course. And then that's where it's gonna give you longevity. And I'm gonna boast a little bit. I'm actually 61.
What? How do I look at your
Woo!
screen? I gotta zoom in a bit here and check this out.
So,
Amazing.
and I measure my cardiovascular health with the Aura Ring, and
Yep.
Aura Ring said my cardiovascular health is minus 12 years than my actual physical age.
Longevity.
There you go. And actually, before I went to Tony spiritual trip, my cardiovascular health was minus 14.
Ooh.
I lost 2 years on that October trip because I wasn't sleeping and I wasn't eating as good as I should.
Yeah, it's the pillars, right? So if everybody's just like, nutrition, supplementation, exercise, sleep,
Yeah,
they're so important. This pillar
all together.
is,
So
yeah, it's not just one, and that's where I tell people like this longevity, this healthy lifestyle, this vitality pillar that we have it's fun like the fundamentals. It's like there's lots
yeah,
and it's
absolutely.
you nail one, we're starting to build that support. You nail two, you're feeling longer, you're getting that longevity up there, your sleep cycle. So it's so important. And I love that you recognize that when
Absolutely.
it's like
Yeah. And by the way, I would have loved to join you guys in Edmonton, but I'm actually flying down to Sarasota. I'm in JJ Virgin Group and it's a mastermind retreat weekend. So I have to kind of split
Mhm.
certain things. So have a great meeting, I'm sure, with everybody together. And then
Yeah.
we'll
Very
chat when
excited.
I come back. Yeah.
Very excited to meet you. I'm glad we had this nice, I'm sure, abundance of information for people and knowledge, which people can, we affected more. Right now, we've affected more than two, three, four, amazing. And I'll definitely get in
Yeah.
contact with you because I like you're part of the community and I want to see like that protein stuff. And then, like I said, if I can get myself on it and then I can I have that knowledge and experience to refer it to the people that I work with where it's like, hey,
Absolutely.
like this
Yeah.
is why. And
If
like, we need
anybody
more help.
need it, then you can share that. Yeah. It's my thing is because it's fermented. That's what kind of got me to looking at when we started. Oh, there's fermented protein. I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, let's
I'm in.
play with it. See
Yeah.
how I can play with how I can touch it.
Yeah, you're like this
So
curiosity, and then that curiosity
yeah,
came to fruition where you're like, I actually made it.
yeah. So great.
Yeah.
You
Well,
guys,
I'm gonna run.
thank you so much for all of your wisdom, gentlemen. I really appreciate it. Gabe, I look forward to seeing you, brother. I sent you everything. Hey, Amy, big love to you. Always a pleasure. Felix, it was amazing to meet you. I look forward to seeing you. And lots of love to you all.
Love you
Likewise.
guys.
Scott,
Soon and yeah,
Scott,
afterward.
I have an old. I got it from an elder. It's I want to talk to you about some of my fitness stuff. So I'm gonna bring a book. It's all the nutritional facts about. It's not crazy detailed, but about all of my traditional foods for the
Oh,
native.
love that. I was gonna say,
Yeah.
I love learning more about that because even when we were talking to Dennis about it's about your lifestyle. Remember, I think that's when we first jumped in the call with me is like, you don't change for other things that's not going to work. You change for the things that you have right there and work with what you have. So if you're like, I'm always looking for that vegetable, or I'm always looking what's not like what we don't have abundance of, we make what works with like what you're eating now. And it's when your body gets what it needs and it's getting those micronutrients, which is, not just your fats, proteins, and carbs, like those EAs, aminos, you're getting it from meat, but we can switch up what meat does what and makes you feel at certain times. So we can talk about, if I have a more fatty meat or I don't have that lean bison, I can have it in the morning, right? Like that fish and stuff, that I'm allowing that fat to actually fuel my body for the day, that I have that lean protein at night where it's not going to be so hard on my stomach, where I actually can dissolve it and digest it. And then supplementation is fine. Like, but now that Dennis is like, it's a big thing is like, it's convenience, right? So when you're up there and you're like, well, I'm not getting I don't have the access to vegetables or those light greens, or I don't have access to farms. What am I going to do? It's like, okay, I need to look in alternatives where I can have a shake, I can have a green shake, I can have, my vegetables crushed up into a powder that I can have that with my meat that I'm supplementing and going with it. I like drinking, or not cleansing, but or sorry, juicing, but I like to have that shake over just taking a pill, because you know you're mixing it, you're getting that fluid, and like Dennis said, it's easy. Your body can digest that, right? So when I'm having that protein, I'm having that shake, I drink it, I know that my body's going to digest it right away, right? So I'm not having those capsules or those pills to take, but I mean, whatever is easy for you to access, we can
I
talk
just
about.
want more natural, like, because if you look at the history of the Inuit growing, like, they were beasts. They were a beast, and they had none of this bullshit. You know, some of it's bullshit, some of it's not. But realistically, like, caribou is the leanest meat in the world, I find. It's
Mhm.
like it's amazing. And like I just and then seal meat, like there I'll show you all the stuff.
That.
And like I'm gonna eat all of these things, and I love them. I cook them in many different ways. I gotta get away from the bad food, and I feel like once I get like a little bit stuff in writing and I structure it, then I'm okay. But my wife's mostly the cook now, and like I said, no more box stuff in our house. I said any processed shit that's in, like, just take everything out. We took everything out. So I go to my house now, it's like everything's so boring to me. But it's everything
Boring.
in the cupboards are boring. Like they're like, because I'm not used to it yet, right? I want
Yeah,
better.
exactly. You gotta bring it. So see how you're so passionate about, like, it gets me excited. You're passionate about that food and the traditions and the Inuit. Keep that with your food, right? So don't dissociate between the two, where it's like, I'm feeding my temple from what I have from my ancestors. This isn't boring. This is good. What can I do to add my flavor and my spice of my life now into what they've tried and proven from those years from coming up? So, spices. Can I do a sauce? Can I do a bass? Can I do something that, like, I like with like olive oil, whatever I have there that's part of that chart that can make that less boring food into more, because as soon as we stop feeding our body, so what you're craving is because we're not getting enough of what it needs, that you're like, well, I only ate a little bit, and we'll work on that together, and I'll tell you why. But it's like I'm not getting it what it needs for calories or protein wise, that later on I'm like, if I was like, I'm hungry, I haven't had carbs, I'm craving these things. But it's not that I'm craving those processed and sugars. It's craving it because it's easier and it gets into my body faster. So it's because I'm at that like extreme per se, that my body's like, I need to get these things. So getting those and eating all day or having intermittent fasting, like, we'll work on like what works best with you and your business that keeps you like energetic and fueled, like I said, good fuel throughout the day. And we get rid of that boring because your body's fueled. You don't even think about it. You're like, oh, I gotta go have this like marinated caribou. I gotta have this, jerked, like dried out caribou, that a certain amount of that will make me, I need that amount to feel better, to go to supper or to lunch or like I can go to bed and I'm happy and my body's fueled.
Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna try get a little package together of my traditional foods, because I'm sure that you're a meat guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Love meats. I tried, like, we have up in Alberta.
You're
we
just
have,
missing the plaid shirt and a chainsaw.
Oh, I have that. I do that in British Columbia. Don't worry, man. That's what I do. I
You
have
got the
both.
stat.
I
You
got
have
that.
everything, man. This guy's.
I didn't
the
have. I
stats
can't have
is
the
great.
beard. I can't keep my lumberjack anymore because I have. I do chainsaw and British Columbia stuff. So I'm in the forest all the time, or I was in the forest all the time. Because I love that. I love nature. I like hunting. I love
Yeah.
fishing. I love it's good. It's an experience. So once I
Hey,
build
come
that,
on up here come on up here in April at some point. Come up here. I'll take you to the best places in the world. We have guys from Russia and
oh, they love
China
it
and
up
all
there.
these billionaires. They come up and they like fly into the zone with their goddamn helicopter, and like
Yeah.
we won't do that, but it's
Like bringing all this
come on.
technology, it's like, bro, put your drone away and get into the experience. We're here to,
Exactly,
in this moment, not like, we're here to get the nature in the traditional way, not, we're not going to go out here and make this easy hunt,
But we have an outfitting business, and we do this. We have like shirts and really nice equipment. So yeah, we'll take you out. That'd be fun if you guys ever came here. Ross is coming at some point, so Ross will tell you about it, and then Ross will tell Eric.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Eric will make it here.
Yep. Feeling back there, curious as a smile. I see him. But yeah, definitely. I got you in the group chat. Ask away. I'll give you the address.
If I come, Gabe, I'm gonna bring a whole crew with me. So, and Scotty is one of them. So,
All right, good. Bring it. I got 5
Me and him
bedrooms
are,
in my
me and
house,
him are
and I
tied
got a
by
ton
our
of staff
biceps. We
houses.
just stick together.
yeah.
So yeah, we'll get you in the group chat, and then if the address is in there and stuff, but I can kind of clear it all up. Eric will send the itinerary kind of thing, but it's up there.
I have this goal. I have this goal for the next 3 months. So big races at the end of April. I don't know if I'm going to be racing throughout the season anyway. I just bought a new race sled, so
Nice.
I want to get back into shape. I really enjoy it. I like the gym. I have my own gym and shit in my warehouse, but it's harder for me to go to the gym. I'll go in there, but I'm not as and I want to get back into the racing thing. Once I start getting back into the racing thing, the gym will be easier for me. So I want to have fun while doing all of this. I
You will
can't
have
wait to
fun.
get there and pick your brain. I can't wait to
Yeah.
pick your brain on structuring. My goal is to lose probably, I'd say 75 pounds, 75 more pounds. I want to be around 220, 230.
Yeah, and I remember when we have that goal, especially when you're talking about sledding and fitness, is the body composition change. So I love the goal of losing, but we also got to be gaining because you got to make this thing fun where it's you're building strength, you're building muscle for those things that you enjoy. Because I make you drop 75 pounds, that sled's gonna crush you, you know? But
Yeah.
we're not doing that. We're building a strength where we're not taking away from our body, we're adding value. So we're becoming a more fuel efficient engine where it's like okay, my body is just taking away this fat, but it's building the muscle. It's utilizing those calories to become stronger and move better, and becoming this powerhouse that it is. So we don't want to restrict in any way, right? We mitigate and we talk about a plan to help you do that and get in very shape very fast because you're doing both. You're helping that body lose fat, but because it's burning it as an efficient to use as calories later on, we're not just like, hey, you're eating one meal a day. So pick my brain. I love it. I have a lot to say on it, which is good. And it should be fun. When we're talking about vitality, we're talking about fitness. I'm all about it. What is your lifestyle? How can we be like, okay, who cares? Let's not do the gym. Let's go outside. And then when it comes to gym time, where it's like you use it as that utilization later on, where it's like, I want to hit those weights. I want to be able to hit that
I
strong
want to
lift.
too. Yeah. Yeah.
But
I don't think I want to do it 7 days a week. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that I have to just make it nice and be nice and easy. And I'm not terribly out of shape where I can't walk and move. I'm the way that I am, but I'm still okay.
you're moving already in the chair.
I definitely need to take the fat off the top. But yeah,
Well, we're gonna push our bodies to the limit this week, brother. So we'll see you in a couple.
Fuck, I can't wait. Okay, I'll see you guys later.